Good morning and welcome to another edition of Cooking with Carrington. Hey guys, thank you for coming back. I know it's been a long summer for us, and we're glad that you guys are back with us, and we're back on ball and ready to rock and roll. We decided to go back to the original Cooking with Carrington kickoff meal, and it's a perfect meal for this time of year for a perfect brunch or dinner item. To watch the games, to enjoy family, to enjoy the beautiful weather that's outside now or inside, whichever you like. And guys, I just want to tell you again, thank you, and say thank you to my staff for staying with us and pushing us along the way to make sure that we continue this wonderful journey that we're on with Cooking with Carrington, where our goal is to educate and elevate your culinary experiences. So today we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, for those of you who don't know, we are doing our sweet potato waffles with our hot chicken. So hot chicken is a dish that was invented in Nashville. It's a funny story because the lady that invented it, her husband was hanging out, not coming home and doing all kinds of things, but he loved chicken. So she wanted to do something to set him straight. So she decided to mix up all these ingredients to make some super hot chicken. And when he got home in the morning, he was hungry, ready to go. And she said, "Let me make this chicken for you." And she made the chicken, and she was thinking that it was going to burn his mouth up, but he loved it. And not only did he love it so much, he started telling his friends about it, and she started making it for other people. And the next thing you knew, that natural hot chicken was invented. So we're going to go ahead and do our version of it today, and we're going to be using a couple of unique ingredients for it that can't be found anywhere else other than here. And this is our Big Daddy Sneak Up Sauce, which is going to be available again soon. Retail label, you can see it on our introduction there. All right, so let's get going. First thing we're going to do now, what we do for our sweet potato waffles, we go ahead and we microwave the potatoes, the sweet potatoes. You can cut them and boil them. I think when you boil, you're extracting flavor. So you lose flavor that way. You can go ahead and roast them. It tastes great roasted. The only problem is when you go to mash them, sometimes you can't get them all the way mashed up. So what I like to do to save time, to keep all the flavor inside and make it easier for to mix to get all the components blended together, I like to microwave them. So what we're going to do, we take our potatoes, which have been cleaned and washed, guys. Make sure we clean and wash our potatoes. Now you can do this part here. You can do with a small knife, or you can do with a fork or anything else. But I like to stick a little hole in the ends, just in. Don't go in too far, just in a little bit, and I'll stick a little one in the middle. So what that's going to do, it's going to help the microwave get inside to actually start moving those liquid molecules that are actually inside of the sweet potatoes, because that's how microwaves work. Microwaves work on shaking molecules of water together to create heat. So that's what we're going to do, okay? We're going to go ahead and put it in our microwave for 7 minutes. All right, 7 minutes in the microwave. While that's happening, I'm going to go ahead and we got our chicken breast here. So I just wanted to show you guys, a lot of times the chicken breasts are really large, and that's why they've been coming. And I'm just going to show you how we're going to clean these up. And we're going to do something today that really helps with your cleanup, and it helps with not having such a mess in your kitchen. We're going to do a lot of our preparation into baggies, plastic sandwich bags. So this is a gallon size. You can use quart size. I put quart size in the recipes, but you can use any size that's going to fit the item that you're going to be working with. So I'm going to take this chicken breast here. It's a pretty large breast, pretty long. I'm going to clean it up and take this is what they call a little bit of rib meat off. We're going to take that off, and that little fat we're going to take off also, and we're going to discard that. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to take the chicken breast, and I did wash my hands, guys, before we started. All right, and I'm going to lay this chicken breast down, and I'm going to start from the thick end, and I'm going to slice down the middle. I'm going to press with my hand gently and with my fingers arched up. If you can see, my fingers are arched. All right, and that keeps my fingers from going down with the knife coming in. Okay, so we're just going to cut through there. All right, we're going to open it up and finish it, and we're going to go ahead and drop it in our baggie, okay? And we'll do one more.
Question, Chef.
Question on horizon, yes.
recipe, do we still need to cut them down the middle?
No, you do not. I could actually leave these whole, but I prefer a thinner breast because we're going to add batter on it. It's going to make it a little bit thicker. So that is totally your preference, whichever you like. Okay, your thickness is up to you. All right. So here we go again. I'm going to cut this breast again, keeping my hand up and away from that knife. All right. I'm going to open it up. And then we're going to go ahead and make sure it's cut all the way through. We're going to drop it in our bag. Okay. And we got one more here. Same procedure. Same thing.
Question, Chef.
Yes, question?
Yes, I chose not to use the chicken breast because it's usually a little dry for my taste.
Okay.
So if you use thighs or something like that, do you still need to slice it or no?
Okay, your boneless chicken thighs, no, you would not have to. The question is, can you use another part of the chicken, and would you need to do any preparation on that chicken? So if you buy a boneless thigh, you will not need to try to cut that, because that would be very dangerous. Those boneless thighs, once they're split open, you should be fine with that thickness. All right, and yes, you can use the thighs. You can even do this with wings. You don't have to cut them, of course. But you can make the same dish with wings, any part of the chicken. So for some of us who are a little bit older, you can remember chicken backs. You can use even chicken backs for it. All right. So I'm going to get rid of my cutting board here, and I'm going to put just a quick wash on my knife, and I'm going to be right back over to the board, and I'm going to wash my hands. So anytime you handle raw chicken, it's always a good idea to wash your hands when you're done. All right. Okay, so now we're back over here. Here we go, guys. All right. We're going to go ahead and we're going to take this. And I'm going to bring all right. I just like working on cutting boards most of the time instead of just a plain countertop, whether I'm cutting or not. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, guys, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the what we call the hot chicken slurry. So a slurry is a wet marinade that you can use for when you're getting ready to, if you want to fry something, or you can even put a slurry. If you're going to coat an item, you can fry it, bake it, broil it, or whatever. But I like to put a slurry on it. Most of the time, slurries are used in part to tenderize and to get flavor into that meat product. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with the slurry here. You have your recipes in front of you guys, so let's get going. So we have our breast in. We're going to take a little bit of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, I'll give you a little secret. You can take a regular 1 cup of whole milk and add about 2 tablespoons of vinegar to it, and you will have created a simulated buttermilk. Buttermilk, the reason that we use buttermilk is because of the enzymes that are created in the actual buttermilk helps to tenderize the chicken. Okay, so that was just a quick tidbit for you. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add 1 egg to this. All right, we're going to beat it a little bit. We're going to add it right in. Now, if you use, yes.
If you use the vinegar to make buttermilk, will it make it taste vinegary?
No, it won't make it taste vinegary. It will still have that sort of buttermilk kind of flavor. But remember, your buttermilk is really, it helps with flavor, but your whole idea behind buttermilk is tenderizing your product. That's what it's for. Okay, so it'll be the same thing. The acid in the vinegar will start breaking down the tissues in the chicken, which makes it more tender. So if you see what I'm doing, instead of having a bunch of bowls and everything and messing up, and you got so much to clean up afterward, just use these baggies. They work perfectly. All right, so we have our eggs in, we have our buttermilk in. Now we're gonna add our Big Daddy Sneak Up sauce. You saw what it looks like in the introduction, and this is what it is, the Big Daddy Sneak Up sauce. All right. It is, and I make this sauce, And we do sell it. If you need some information about it, just hit us up online afterward and we'll let you know we can ship it. All right. This is an amazing sauce, if I say so myself. And I think there's a couple people on the line. I'm going to add a little bit more just because it's so good to you. I think there's a couple people on the in the class that can attest to how amazing it is. All right. So we got our Big Daddy sneak up sauce in there, right? Now what do we need? Okay. We're going to go ahead and add our granulated garlic, our black pepper, and our salt. And that is going to be our slurry. Getting ready to go. So, granulated garlic, salt, and black pepper. And notice our sweet potatoes are still going, right? So we'll be okay so that we'll have everything ready. We can do more than one thing at a time in the kitchen. You know, some people call it multitasking. I just call it being efficient. All right, mise en place, constant state of efficient readiness is what we look for. Okay. Is everybody caught up so far? Before I start adding the dry seasonings into the slurry? If you need another minute or so, if you have a question, go ahead and ask. All right. I'm going to go ahead and add a half a teaspoon of granulated garlic. All right. And you can add as much or as little as you like. Again, this is all subjective to your flavor profile, what you like. All right. So you can do it that way. And then we're going to go ahead and add a quarter teaspoon of black pepper. Now, the reason I would tell you guys not to add too much black pepper because it's going to be spicy already, you know, depending on the heat that you like. All right. There we go. And we're going to add another, just a little 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. We don't need too much salt. So we're going to take that quarter teaspoon and we're going to just add this halfway full. All right. Like so. Okay. And then we're going to add that in. All right. We'll put our seasonings back and we're going to go ahead and mix this slurry up and then we're going to set it over to the side near our fryer. So when we get ready to fry, we're going to turn our fryer on and it'll be ready. The best way to do this is actually, if you do this 2 hours ahead of time, you can even let it sit overnight. Sometimes I tell people to be careful though, because of the buttermilk, and especially if you're going to use the vinegar, not to do it, you know, more than 12 hours or so, because those enzymes will continue to break that meat down and it can become very, very, very very mealy your meat products. So just want to be careful with that. Notice we got everything in there, right? Look at that. No fuss. No huss, no fuss. We're going to set it right to the side here. All right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the dredge. So the dredge, when something is called the dredge, again, when you're using cooking and you're going to be frying or sauteing, your dredge is, you know, grandma used to make that fried chicken, right? She had that flour that she kept in the brown paper bag. Sometimes she put it in the refrigerator, sometimes she didn't. That's your dredge. That's what a dredge is. That's all it is. It's the dry flour mixture, whatever seasoning you put in, or whatever type of flour you use. Because we're going to do a couple, like I said, we're going to do something a little bit different that I like. So when you go to the Chinese restaurant, guys, and I know we've all been there, and you get those fried chicken wings, you always wonder, well, how do they make that fried chicken so crispy, right? So here's the thing about it. What you learn is, and you know, when they do the General Tao or General Tso or General Joe's or whatever they may call it, and they wonder how they get so crispy and it holds up in that sauce and it stays crispy. What they use is cornstarch. Okay, so I'm going to use a cornstarch and a flour mixture because that's what I like. All right, and so we're going to go ahead and we're going to add. I'm going to cut this down just a little bit, and we're going to use about 1.5 cups of flour. And now the reason I tell you guys to make it so large, because you can just hold, just like grandma used to hold hers, you can hold this and use it for your fried chicken, use it for, if you want to fry some fish, maybe put it to the side, add a little bit of cornmeal to it, and you got a nice dredge, a nice crispy chicken with all your whatever seasonings you put in, and it'll be really good. Sounds like our sweet potatoes may be done, and I'm gonna go check them in a minute after we get this finished, okay? So we're gonna put our flour in, and we're gonna add a little bit of cornstarch, guys. All right, we all know what the cornstarch looks like. I'm not trying to promote any product, but that just happens to be the most popular brand. All right. So on the cornstarch, so it's 2-to-1, the flour to the cornstarch, right? So that makes sense. All right, so we got to put a little bit about a cup in a. I'm sorry, about a 3/4 of a cup of cornstarch. And you already feel this. If you look at your cornstarch and you feel it, it's real silky, you know. I know back in the day, I know I'm aging myself here, but I remember my aunts used to eat cornstarch. I never understood why. They were my grand aunts, but they would eat cornstarch. I never understood why, but they did. But it's very silky and smooth to the touch. So we're gonna add that into it, right? And then we're gonna add a little bit of black pepper and a little bit of salt. And that's all the seasoning that we need in there for this, okay? So on your black pepper, we're gonna add just about a 1/4 teaspoon, right? You notice a lot of the seasoning is kind of redundant. And that's why you don't wanna add too much of anything to start, because you can overpower and become too salty or too peppery or whatever it may be while you're working on this stuff, All right. And then we're going to go ahead and add a 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt to this, right? Anybody have any questions so far? No questions? No questions. Everybody caught up? Everybody near where they want to be? All right. Space here. There we go. So on the dredge, again in the bag. Close it up. We're gonna shake it up. Get that cornmeal and get cornmeal and fish, guys. I'm sorry. We're gonna get that cornstarch and the flour mix combined very good. Now we're gonna sit it right over here near our chicken. We're gonna let all that rest over there. Now, I think we need to go check on our sweet potatoes. What do you guys think? We're gonna check our sweet potatoes, see where they're at. All right, we're gonna head over to the sweet potatoes. They got a little bit more to go, and that's okay, because we got a little bit of time before we need them. I'm going to go ahead and add this for another 5 minutes or so. So let me tell you a little secret that I believe in. I believe in always undercooking when you're cooking, not when you're baking, but when you're cooking. If the recipe says something's going to cook for 30 minutes, I always set my timer for 20. Because there's a little thing that I always say, you can cook it more, but you can't cook it less. If you take it out and it's open, it's overcooked, you can't do anything about it. If I take it out and it's undercooked, I can put it back in and let it cook longer till it gets to perfection. Everybody caught that? So this is a jewel I'm giving to you. You can cook it more, but you can't cook it less. All right. So, all right, here we go, guys. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start our since we have 5 more minutes left on that, we're gonna start our strawberry butter. Everybody say This is another item. You'll see it's I've softened my butter and I've had it out for since last night. And so with the strawberry butter, again, it's a kind of a big recipe. You can cut it down. But the reason I do that, again, is because this is something that you put in your plastic container and you put it in your refrigerator, then let me tell you, you can use this on anything from pancakes, waffles, cinnamon raisin toast, English muffin, regular toast. You can use this butter on just about anything. So we're just going to, we can get it open. That would help. I wrap this up pretty good there. There we go. All right. Get it in there. It's nice and soft. I'm going to use a, I'm going to use a spreader for this, but you can use a spatula or anything like that. I'm just going to press it down. Can you guys see how soft the butter is? Look at that. I'm just moving it around. All right. So with that being done, we're going to go ahead. We're going to add a little bit of confectionery sugar to this. Confectionery sugar, your grandmama, again, see, I always refer to the ancestors, even the ones that are still here, because what they knew, man, I wish we knew. We could learn real quick. But they were so smart. They called this sugar 10x sugar. I said 10x sugar? Yeah, and that's because what they knew it as, it was refined and ground white sugar and just ground till 10 times to the texture again. It's going to be nice and flaky, and it's going to have a nice flavor profile to it, and it's just wonderful for your, you guys use this in your buttercreams, you use it in frostings. We're going to use it in this straight butter with the strawberries, okay? So we're going to go ahead and add it, 2 tablespoons to it. All right. There we go. Next thing we're going to do now, we're going to add our strawberry. Now, so here, I get excited about this part because, strawberries are not in season all the time. So lots of times you still want to make something like this. One thing is strawberry preserves, not strawberry jam, not strawberry jelly. Strawberry is not so much preservatives in it. All right. I mean, it's funny you say that because it is a preserve, but it's that if you think of canned strawberries from years ago where they would make them and boil them off into the in the canning jars and then set them on the shelf and they'd be preserved. That's pretty much what this is. A little bit of pectin goes into them, but that's okay. All right. So we're going to go ahead and add our strawberry preserves. Now it says, again, 3 to 4 tablespoons, guys. So what that means is you can use 3, you can use 4, you can use 2, you can use 1, you can use 8. It's up to you. Again, this is a recipe is a roadmap to a destination when you're cooking. When you're baking is a formula, scientific formula. So you don't change anything in baking, but you can definitely change in recipes, okay? Now we're just going to mix this all up together. Just mix and turn, mix and turn. All right, get everything incorporated. That's the whole idea with this, is just incorporation. All right. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I know, but some people say, "Oh, that don't look so good." Trust me. Trust in me. This is going to taste fabulous. All right. And those of you that have had it will attest to it. And we do a lot of compound butters here at Cooking with Carrington for different things. So this is just one that we're using today for our sweet potato waffle. I'm going to set that over to the side. Get rid of this egg shell here. All right. So now what we're going to do, again, I don't endorse any products, but this is some of the best preserves you can ever get. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start on our sweet potato waffle. So we're going to make a little bit of egg whites, guys. So the egg whites we're going to whip them, and the egg whites are going to fluff up. And when they fluff up, what they do is they actually make the waffle itself nice and light. All right. So here we go. Let's do it like this. Pull back out here. Get back on here. We're not going to waste the yolk, okay? Little trick with the egg white itself. Little trick is when you to separate your egg whites. I know a lot of times it's nerve-wracking. A lot of times we're trying to figure out how to do it, how to move it from shell to shell, things like that to get the white out completely. So what I'm going to show you though is the easiest way that I know. If you open your egg, put it right into your hand, let the white slip right through your fingertips. And you notice, can you see that? You got your yolk there, shell in the garbage, and you have your egg whites in the bowl. Can everybody see that?
Yes, chef.
Anybody have a question? We're gonna do the same thing here. Again, crack it, open it up, right through your fingers, just let it hang for a minute, and it's gonna go down. There you go, let gravity do its thing. All right. And I did it backwards, guys. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna take these yolks out of here. This happens, but because I handled it, I can go ahead and pick this yolk up. Look at that. You see that? I'm gonna put it right there. All righty. Any questions?
Nice recovery, chef.
There you go. Thank you. Somebody said nice recovery. I like that. It happens, guys. It happens. But you got to figure out how do you get by without it. So work it out. And that's why when you're handling your product, so if I had done the shell to shell with that, I would not have been able to take that yolk out and continue on. Is everybody caught up? Let me know if you're caught up already. Everybody caught up? You ready to roll? Okay, so I'm going to take my egg whites. I'm going to start whipping them, and I want them to get stiff, almost like a meringue. All right, and then we're going to add a tiny bit of sugar to them so that it'll hold stiff. The peaks will hold up pretty stiff. So I'm going to use an electric beater. Sometimes I'll whip it with a whisk, but I'm going to use an electric beater today. Show you guys that how easy it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beater here, which I have already set up. I'm going to put my paddles, actually the whisk blades straight down, straight to start, and then I'm going to turn it on. Move it around just a little slow. Now the part about this is what you're going to see is how the volume of the egg increases. Whenever you whip an egg, you're adding air into it, and that air, the egg whites pull in that air, and that air increases the volume. So you can already see how much more egg whites are in there already, how much more volume we have compared to where we started. You guys see that? All right, so now what we're gonna do, we're gonna speed it up some. We're gonna get it really quick. If you wanna incorporate that air fast. I'm actually gonna turn it to its side a little bit. I wanna make sure that there's no liquid that's gonna stay on the bottom. I wanna get it all incorporated. I know it's kind of hard to hear me right now, but it'll take another minute or so and you should be okay. All right. You see how it's foaming up? You see that volume? That's just 2 egg whites, guys. All right, you see how that volume has increased so much? And that's all right. So what we're gonna do, we still need more, so we're just gonna get it going a little bit more. Okay, so if you see now, it's creating what we call ribbons. You see that little flow as it stays and it peaks, see that? So I want to keep that. So what I'm going to do now, there's a couple things that you can add to keep that. One of them is sugar, which is the most popular, which we're going to use right now. There's a little bit of just pure cane table sugar. All right.
Question, chef?
Yes.
Does the type of bowl that you use to beat the egg whites matter?
No, as long as you have a question is the type of bowl matter that I'm going to use to whip the egg whites? The answer is no, but you want to make sure that the bowl is large enough to handle the volume once the egg increases. Does that make sense? A lot of people believe you can only use a glass bowl. Some people believe in stainless steel. You know, it depends. But I will tell you this though: when you're whipping egg whites, your bowl cannot have any liquid in it to start, and the bowl cannot be hot. So a lot of times bakers actually put their bowls in a refrigerated unit first, upside down, to make sure that there's no liquid that stays in, and then it's nice and cold when they bring it out.
Chef, we have another question.
Questions? Questions? What is the question?
Okay, so
I have to keep whipping a little bit.
I thought somebody had a question. Okay, so I was whipping my eggs.
Yes.
What egg? So I missed. What kind of sugar did you put in there? Did you do the brown sugar, or
No.
what kind of sugar? Put in
Regular
there?
sugar, just white sugar.
White sugar. Okay.
Yeah. And all you need is just about, a teaspoon or so. We're not really doing it for flavor. We're doing it for the chemical reaction that's going to hold the peaks of the egg whites. You see that? So I'm going to whip it just a little bit more. Great question, guys. Now you guys see the ribbons. When I was talking about the ribbons, you see how they formed in there? That means that your peaks have incorporated as much air as you probably can get in your egg whites, and that's about as far as we want to go, but that's perfect for what we want. All right. Question? What's the question? Hello? Someone has a question out there.
What type of eggs should you use?
I'm sorry? What kind
type
of
of eggs?
So here's the thing with eggs. We use a large egg. You always want to at least use a AA grade egg, guys. Don't, for anything, do not use less than a AA graded egg. What that means is they grade the eggs by the light when the eggs are produced. The chicken drops the eggs, they ride them down the conveyor, and how much light can go that they can see the size of the yolk and everything inside. So yeah, you want a AA egg. Don't try not to use a grade A. Definitely, you probably won't find it, but definitely never grade B. That's usually used in a commercial process for other items. But that was a great question. Great question. So I'm going to sit those to the side right now. Let me run over to my microwave and see where we are with our sweet potatoes. They should be ready, I'm hoping. So we're going to go ahead and open it up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're going to take these sweet potatoes out. And as you can see, sweet potatoes have reduced in volume because of the liquid content. I'm going to move them around a little bit. They're going to be hot, so be careful, guys. We're just going to move them around a little bit. We're going to set this down. All right. So these are going to be nice. You want to move them a little bit because they'll start to get hard on you in certain areas. All right. Now we're going to go ahead. I'm going to turn my fryer on now because we're getting ready to start to make our waffle batter. But I'm going to turn the fryer on so they reach its temperature when we get ready to drop our chicken. Okay, guys? So here we go. All right. All right. I'm going to turn my fryer right to about 350 degrees. That's where you want to fry at, guys. You want to fry 350 degrees, just about anything you fry. Do not 330. Some people tell you 300. Let me reduce that. Just about everything you fry is at 350, except for if you're going to make carnitas. So when I make carnitas, I take the fryer down to 250, and I just season it, and I drop that pork shoulder in there, and I let it just go nice and slow at 250 degrees. And then about 2.5 hours, depending on the size, I pull that bad boy up, and it's so tender and moist, and it just drips with flavor. All right. Any other questions? Okay. So now we're going to go ahead. Remember those egg yolks? We didn't throw those egg yolks away. We're going to go ahead and mix those egg yolks into our, we'll break them up a little bit. We're going to mix them right into our waffle batter. All right. So here we go. waffle batter. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with baking powder. Not baking soda, guys. Baking powder. Make sure we're using baking powder, not baking soda. Two different applications for baking. Your baking soda has it's a chemical. They're both leavening agents. So in other words, they're to lighten things up as you're cooking or baking. So, but your baking soda is more of a chemical reaction. Your baking powder is actually baking soda mixed with flour already, and so it gives it a better, an easier way to leaven your item, and you have more control over it. Baking soda will just come; it can explode your item, and it gets real airy, and it'll be real open. And so you want to use baking powder, guys. Baking powder. All right, here we go in the baking powder. We're going to use. Yes. Question.
Did you mix those eggs with the egg whites, or you're in a separate bowl?
I'm in a new bowl.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm gonna use
and because I don't have a fryer, I'm just gonna put some oil in this pot that I'm gonna put my chicken in.
That's great. And I'm gonna want to see how that turns out, because yeah, you can fry, you can fry just like you frying chicken. That's all we're doing is frying chicken using just another format. But we're gonna hold on, we're gonna get this batter made and let it sit for a minute. And while it's sitting, we're gonna go ahead and make the glaze for the chicken, because that's real important. Once the chicken comes up, we want to get it right into the glaze. Okay, guys? So let's go ahead and do the batter. But great question. I want to see everybody's finished product. So you guys get ready to turn your cameras on when I tell you to. Okay?
Yes, chef.
I didn't hear no. All I heard was one yes. We'll say okay. All right, here we go. So we're gonna go with our 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I'm putting everything right into the yolks. Now you can make your dry mix, set it to the side, and then add in all of your liquid items. I'm just gonna go straight and just get everything mixed together and get it whipped up, and then we're gonna go from there, okay, guys? So there we go. Baking powder. We're gonna use our cinnamon, ground cinnamon. Anybody have any questions yet? So far, so good. Everybody's caught up. Everybody working on their waffles mix right now. Everybody on it?
I'm a little behind you.
Okay.
I just threw my eggs in a bowl, so now I gotta pick what you did next.
All right. I'll just put all I did so far is I put in baking powder. Now I'm adding cinnamon. There we go. All right. So on the cinnamon, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Again, you can add as much cinnamon as you like. I'm adding a little bit more because I like cinnamon. You can add as much as you want in the seasoning process, not in your baking powder process, but your seasoning, you can add as much or as little as you like, okay? We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Everybody else caught up? We're going to add just a dab of nutmeg, an 1/8 of a teaspoon. Nutmeg is a very interesting spice. And the reason I say that is because nutmeg is one of the few actual spices that has two different spices from the same seed. So the outer spice of the seed is called nutmeg when they grind it, and the inner spice when they grind it is called mace. And they both have a very different flavor profile. All right. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to add our flour and our eggs. We got the egg yolks in, light brown sugar. All right.
Chef, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Why is it so important to add salt when baking?
Salt actually, okay, when you think about salt, salt is actually a chemical for the most part, when they talk about iodized table salt, things like that, it's a chemical. And again, when you're baking, remember, it is actually a formula. So when you're baking, you're going to be having formula. So that salt is going to help facilitate the actual baking process and the formula of the process. You can omit salt in your product. You may not taste the difference, but there'll be a texture difference. And it might be just a slight texture difference, but there will be a texture difference, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're so welcome, sir. Put a little brown sugar in there. And we're gonna have to go ahead and melt a little bit of butter. All right. So on the butter, we're just gonna pop again. The microwave is a friend with this. You know, a lot of us traditional chefs say, you know, oh, microwave cooking is this, microwave cooking is that. I agree with microwave cooking, but I also think of the microwave as a tool, a helping tool, not as a cooking element, okay? So your microwave really comes in handy when you're doing a lot for different things, all right? So we're gonna add a half a stick of butter. It's gotta go into here. There we go. We're gonna pop this in the microwave. Is everybody with me?
Yes, chef.
All right, we're gonna do this for about 25 seconds. And if we need to add more, we'll add more.
Okay, can I do a quick recap, Chef?
Yes, great. Where we at?
So I got my cinnamon, I got
Okay.
my nuts, I got my egg yolks, I got my
Okay.
baking powder.
Okay,
So I'm adding brown sugar and then a half a stick of butter. Is that correct?
yeah, you're gonna melt the butter though. That's what I'm doing right now. You are right there with me.
Okay. Not quite. I'm trying.
You are right there with me.
Almost.
You're there. All right, there we go. So we're not gonna add the melted butter right now because it's hot, because we melted it in the microwave, so it's hot, and we don't want to add it to the egg yolks, because if we add it to the egg yolks, what's gonna happen is it's gonna cook the egg yolk. So we don't want to do that. So we're gonna hold off on that melted butter for a minute, but we got everything else in here except for the flour, am I correct? And the sweet potatoes and milk. All right, so we're gonna use whole milk, not your buttermilk, guys. Do not use buttermilk. You're gonna use your whole milk in here, okay? So we're gonna go ahead with our whole milk here, and we're gonna use 1 cup of whole milk. All right. 1 cup of whole milk is going. All right. I just heard a little beeping, that's all. I was like, where's that beeping coming from? That is the fryer is about ready. All right. Here we go. Fryer is ready. We're looking good. We're gonna put our milk back here. I'm gonna start whisking, guys. Just start whisking your items in together.
Chef, how many waffles will this recipe yield?
This recipe, depending on the size of your waffle maker and what you bake, anywhere from 2 to 4. But we're using the big, deep Belgian waffles. So, all right.
So if I wanted to double the recipe, just double all ingredients?
Double all ingredients. That's all you have to do. Everything, just double it up. All right. All right, I'm gonna add my flour. How much flour are we putting in there? 1 3/4 cups. Correct?
Yes, chef.
All right. I like this class. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this food, guys. Let me tell you that right now. But I like this class because you guys are really, really asking questions and into what we're doing. All right. So We got our flour in there, right? We're getting there, guys. So what do we need now? We need sweet potatoes and butter, correct?
Yes, chef.
Guys, we forgot one thing. We gotta have that vanilla. So we're gonna use vanilla. So now I said a cap full of vanilla. And that's pretty much your vanilla cap should be about the same size or so. But again, this is very subjective to your taste, your flavor profile. So we're gonna use a pure vanilla, okay? You can use imitation vanilla. You can use vanilla extract. You can use some of the they have vanilla flavonoids now. All right, you can use any of that. All right, this is starting to look good, guys. All right, a little bit of vanilla. Everybody caught up now? Another thing, like I said, we don't want to make sure that we put that vanilla in. We don't want to put that vanilla on the egg yolk. Again, there's a little acid in the vanilla, alcohol actually, and it'll cook the egg yolk, okay? So we don't want to do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my butter now. All right, it's safe now. All right, we're going to whisk this up. Any questions so far? There we go. So this is what it should look like. Can we all see that?
Yes.
So far. All right, so we have our milk, we have our egg yolks, we have our brown sugar, we have our butter, right? We have our flour, we have our baking powder, we have our ground cinnamon, we have our salt, and we have our grated nutmeg, and now we're gonna go ahead and put the sweet potatoes in, and then we'll add the pied de resistance. My little pronunciations have been rough today. I don't know why, but we got it. Which is the top of what's going to make it the top of the top, okay? So now here's the thing with the sweet potatoes. I'm going to take a knife, all right? You guys now watch this, okay? We're going to take a knife. We're going to split it. Now be careful if you're holding the knife in your hand, but you can do it on your board too. All right, let me slide this over here so you guys can see. I can put it on my board, and I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to just slice it right down the middle. All right. And we're going to open it up. And that sweet potato should be done. Look at this. See how I'm squeezing it, how it's coming up? We know that sweet potato is nice and done. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a spoon and I'm going to go ahead and scrape just to sit the meat, we're going to call it the meat of the sweet potato right out. Is this looking good to anybody?
Yes, chef.
All right. It does not tell me now.
Chef.
I have a question.
So sweet potatoes come in different sizes.
Yes, they
So
do.
you can't ever really say you're going to need 2 cups of sweet potatoes or 1.5 cups of sweet potatoes.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That is correct. You can say that, but you could be wasting sweet potato, or you may not purchase enough, depending on, that's why I tell you 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes. Now, with that being said, though, I could actually scrape this out into a measuring cup, and I would know, how much sweet potato I'm putting in. But remember, this is all subjective to your flavor profile. You could have got 2 tiny, if you didn't want it really sweet potatoey, I know that's a new word, sweet potatoey. If you didn't want to have that strong sweet potato flavor, you could have got a couple small sweet potatoes. If you like a good sweet potato flavor, or you want it really strong, then you go ahead and get a couple large sweet potatoes. That part of this is all subjective. All right. Okay. Get all that. I'm gonna get all that meat out of there. Now I'm going to take this scraper spatula again, get it in, and I'm going to just mix it all together. Now I'm starting to use the scraper spatula because when we add our egg whites, you have to use, you have to fold your egg whites in. You can't mix them. You can mix them in. You don't beat them in or anything like that. You have to fold them in because the more you turn it, the more you move it, the more of your air will be released. And that's the whole idea about the egg whites, is keeping the air incorporated. I'm sorry, guys, I keep looking down. It just looks so good to me. Almost like a sweet potato pie. All right, I'll taste a little bit of it. Taste your batter. I'm just scared. There's nothing in there that's gonna kill you.
Chef, it's got raw egg.
That's all right. I got somebody on the line right now that's in this class right now. He'll tell you, when we were younger, we used to drink raw eggs after we saw the Rocky movie. we wanted to be Rocky and we wanted to be in shape. So you drink raw eggs. No, it does have raw eggs. It doesn't have enough to, even if there's a salmonella, which is not in those eggs, because again, we're using a grade AA egg and we're making sure of that. But even if it did, it wouldn't be enough salmonella in there to make me sick. You also have salmonella in your body already. The whole idea is you don't want to eat raw chicken, raw turkey, raw poultry, and you don't really want to eat too much raw egg right now. If you need to eat raw egg, say to get in shape or something, you can go and buy a pasteurized egg, which is the liquid egg in the carton, and it'll be a liquid whole egg. Make sure it says pasteurized on it, and you can actually drink that just like that. All right, here we go. We're gonna add those egg whites. Look at those egg whites just slide in there. Can you see it sliding in? Y'all see that?
Yes, chef.
Yeah, that's heaven. We'll put those in there. We'll use that again in a minute. Now I'm just gonna, this is what I'm doing. Turn, folding, turn, folding. So your batter should have been a little bit thick. Should have been like, oh, it's not gonna turn into a waffle. It's gonna be too thick. Now as we add this egg white, you'll see it's starting to loosen up. But it's not loosening up because of liquid. It's loosening up because of air. And that is what's gonna make your waffle nice and light. If you want to cook it longer, it'll be crispy on the outside, light on the inside. If you like it a little bit under, it'll be still nice and light with a little bit of a softness to it. Oh yeah, there you go. Everybody with me?
Yes, chef.
Oh my goodness. I think we're in for a treat today. Everybody ready to rock and roll? We have to make one more thing before we can get going. So we have to make the glaze for the chicken. We have the slurry, we have the dredge. Now we're gonna make the glaze. I'm gonna use this same bowl here. Again, guys, try not to have too many dishes and too much of a mess, because I'm not in the restaurant. Whereas the chef, I can make a mess all day because I got somebody that's gonna come in and clean it up. I gotta clean this as we go. All right. Any questions so far? Is everybody up to speed? Everybody's up to speed?
I have a question.
Yes.
My waffle mix is really not creamy.
Not
so
creamy?
Tell me what I did wrong.
Okay, did you add your egg whites in yet?
I have not added my egg whites in yet.
Okay, once you add your egg whites in, you're gonna fold them in. You're gonna see it's gonna smooth out. So you're saying your batter right now is kind of thick, right?
Yeah, I'm not even sure it's really oh, you know what? I didn't add my milk. That's what it is. Got it.
All righty. So let's just go over the recipe again real quick to make sure. So because we're getting ready to get to the end, we want to make sure everybody's got everything in. So we have our sweet potatoes in, our milk, our egg yolks. We have the brown sugar, butter melted, your flour, baking powder, ground cinnamon, salt, your grated nutmeg, your egg whites, and a little bit of vanilla.
I have
Sound
a
good?
question.
Yes.
You said don't put the vanilla, don't pour the vanilla on what?
Onto egg yolks. So when you have
Onto
your
egg yolks.
yeah, when
Okay.
you have your egg yolks in the bowl by
Mhm.
themselves, you don't want to put vanilla on top of those.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. The alcohol, and just to reiterate that, the alcohol in the vanilla will start to cook your egg yolk. All right. There are techniques that you can use to do that, and we can talk about that another time. But yeah, you do not want to do that.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm cooking with this cooking show.
Cooking? Come on now, that's what I'm talking about. Cooking with Carrington. That's what we're talking about. All right. So we're gonna make our groove glaze. This is that groovy glaze. So now you can use the spicy one, or you can use the mild. Before I go any further, if you guys are looking at your recipes, you will see down at the very bottom of your recipe for the hot chicken and sweet potato waffles with the strawberry butter, you will see a hot chicken drizzle. So now we're not going to make that hot chicken drizzle. What that is, so when we do this hot chicken, you can actually use this as a sandwich item. You know, get a nice brioche hamburger bun or a nice potato bun or something like that, and you make this hot chicken drizzle, and you just drizzle that over the chicken. Oh man, put a couple slices of pickles on there, and you got something that to really talk about, guys. And to make that drizzle, you're going to need the Big Daddy sneak up sauce. You saw what it looked like in the original, in your introduction. So it's got the label has Denzel Washington on it. So just to let you guys know. All right. Okay. So here we go. Actually, it's not Denzel on it. That's me. So, so we're gonna use about 1 cup of the Big Daddy sneak up. Right. We're gonna do the mild one because the spicy is really, really hot. And if you like it hot, but it's good. It'll be heat with a lot of, sweet with a lot of heat. So if you like it like that, go ahead and do the spicy. All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to add the Big Daddy sneak up in there. All right. Done with those. And then we're going to go ahead and add our granulated garlic. We're going to add our paprika. We're going to add our black pepper, and we're going to add a little bit of brown sugar, baby. Brown sugar. All right. Here we go. A little salt. I'm sorry. Actually, we're not putting salt in this item. I'm glad I had to double check my recipe, guys. Sometimes it's good to do that. All right. Because I was about to put some salt in there. We're not putting no salt in there. All right. So on my black pepper, we're going to put a 1/4 teaspoon. And we're going to drop some chicken down in a few minutes. Now get going. All right. 1/4 teaspoon. Guys, is everybody ready with their fryer? Did you turn your fryers on? Did you turn your waffle lines on? Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no. Yes, yes, yes. No, no, no.
Waffle line now, fryer's ready.
Fryers on, waffle lines on. Awesome. That's what we need right now. Okay. Make sure it's getting hot. If you have a fryer, 350 degrees. If you're frying in a pan, make your temperature medium, but a little more than medium heat, and you'll know it's done when you just drop a little bit of flour into it. You'll know it's ready to rock and roll. Okay. So here we go. So now we've got our black pepper in. We need a little bit of granulated garlic. This is the part that you really got to get right, guys. This is what makes it good. Okay. This is the glaze to go on. It's gonna make that stuff shiny and shimmery and give it a whole lot of flavor. All right. So we're gonna put our granulated garlic in. We're gonna add a little bit of paprika and then a little bit of brown sugar. And I'm gonna make sure my waffle line is on now. So we can get ready to rock and roll. There we go. Too high, nice and medium, get a good little texture to it. All right. On the paprika, we're going to put just a 1/4 teaspoon. A lot of people believe that paprika doesn't have flavor, but I'll tell you, paprika has a very unique flavor, especially the Hungarian paprika. You know, you have Spanish paprika and you have Hungarian paprika. And then you also have a smoked paprika, which I use a lot of. Paprika has a very, very unique flavor for dishes like paprikash or paprika chicken or Hungarian goulash, real Hungarian goulash stew. They have an amazing, amazing flavor for it. And so, you know, some people say, oh, we just like paprika to put on top of potato salad when it's done to make it look good. Well, that is true too. It does make it look good. but it does have a unique flavor to it. All right, so let's double check on our group recipe here. We're missing one thing, guys, right? What don't we have in here? We don't have brown sugar. Speak it out. I heard somebody say it. Don't be shy.
Sugar.
There you go. We getting ready to put the brown sugar in it. Just a little bit of brown sugar. I think it was just 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, correct? Am I correct?
Correct.
Is everybody caught up with me? Yes, no?
Not
Maybe
quite,
so?
not quite, but I'm trying to, I haven't started my group glaze yet,
You haven't
but I'm
started your
ready.
glaze yet?
I'm just finishing my waffles. It took me a minute. I'm by myself, but I'm starting on my glaze now.
Okay, so what you can do you have your fryer on?
It's on.
Fryer's on? Okay.
Yep.
What we can do is we can go over and we're gonna drop the we're gonna go ahead and drop the some chicken. So while your chicken is cooking, you can come on back and finish up your glaze. Okay?
Sounds good.
All right. So I'm gonna head over to the fryer now. My fryer said it's ready, nice and hot. It's gonna take about 12 minutes or so to cook the chicken fully. All right. So let's get going. All right. I'm gonna do this in a couple batches. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take, remember we got our chicken in our slurry marinating. So here's a good tip for you guys. When you take the chicken out your slurry, guys, keep a little side towel with you handy. All right. And when you take your chicken out of your slurry, hold it up above the slurry for just a couple seconds and give it a good shake in the bag. Don't take it out of the bag and shake it because you're gonna mess all over. But just shake it a little bit so you can get all that extra off because you don't want it to be wet. Then it's gonna be hard for the your dredge to hold on to. Okay? So we're gonna put that in. I'm gonna do 2 at a time. Actually, I'm gonna do 3 at a time. Yes, we'll do 3 at a time. Then we're gonna do 2 batches of it. Okay? All right. All right. All right, here we go. So now I'm gonna go ahead and close that bag up because we don't want it to spill out. We don't want it to leak, make a mess. And the whole idea is to avoid having so much to clean up. I'm gonna run back over here, just rinse my hand off real quick. And once I drop it, I'm gonna come back and wash my hands because I just handled raw chicken, right? So we're gonna close up the bag with the dredge. We're gonna give it a good shake around. I know y'all don't have shaken bake before. All right, so we're gonna come on over here. So I'm gonna add my chicken right into the oil. A lot of times people like to keep their baskets up, and then they want to add their they want to put the product in the basket and then drop it. I believe when you do that, you actually you have a chance of your product sticking to the basket. You don't get a clean cook. So I like to go directly into the oil. So I'm actually gonna drop my basket right into the oil. Just checking it. See where we at on temperature. Don't fry much. All right. Again, you're gonna shake that dredge off. All right. The extra dredge should fall off so you don't have clumps of your
Question
dredge
before you
mix.
fry.
I'm sorry?
A question
double
before you
dipping?
fry. Can we double dip?
Are we double dipping?
You can double dip, and we should double dip.
When I dip, you dip, we dip.
That's right, you're right. She's so right. That was what I say. When I dip, you dip, we dip. So we are going to double dip. Thank you. See, I get lost sometimes, but we get it. See, that's why I have a crack staff here, guys. That's what I told you in the beginning. I'm thankful for my staff. They're going to check me, double check me, and correct me. Because we're going to dip and dip and dip again. All right, so we're going to go back in. We're going to shake it up. Don't worry about your fingers getting messy. We're going to wash our hands, right?
Yes, chef.
All right, here we go. Mhm. Oh yeah. See how they catch me? Or was I just checking them to see if they were sleeping? Yeah. No, they caught me on that one, guys. They caught me. But I love it. All right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, did you hear it? Can you hear it cooking?
Yes, chef.
Can you hear what the chef is cooking? That food, that your cooking will always talk to you. If you're cooking good, it's gonna let you know. If you're not gonna hear nothing. Especially when we're frying, okay? Ooh-wee. Oh yeah, oh yeah. We're gonna set a timer on that as soon as we get these other two in.
Question, chef.
Yes.
We joked about the double dip,
Yes.
but what exactly is the double dip and why is it a good thing?
So the double dip, what it does is it gives you a second coating of your dredge, right? And with that second coating, you get a nice sear on the outside, but then you also keep that nice juicy crispness on the inside. All right? So that's why it's good to double dip when you have a dredge. You don't need to double dip if you're just dropping flour with chicken. You don't need to double dip. So we're gonna let this go for about 15 minutes. All right.
Question, chef.
Yes, question?
If we're cooking with a cast iron pot and oil,
Yes.
do we need to put the top of the pot on?
No. Even if you're using a fryer, you don't have to put the top on. I put the top on because you see the steam coming up. All right, I don't want all of that. There's a filter inside here that catches. There's a filter inside here that actually catches the oil. All right, so you see the steam coming up. So now you're getting just the liquid that's going to come out, not the oil from inside. So you know how you get your grease all over your. That's from what pops up, and that's the oil that's going out. There's a filter inside. You see these little holes up here? That's a filter in there. All right.
Thank you, chef.
No, thank you. Okay, guys. Ooh. The waffle line is ready. We got any questions? Is everybody caught up? Is everybody where they need to be? If you're not, don't be shy. Just let me know, because we're about to hit it. We are about to get it. Chicken's cooking. We're going to go ahead and throw the waffle on. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Any questions? Anything going on? How's everybody doing? Can we see somebody's stuff working? Turn your computer around and put your camera on. And back over here, just take a look and see where we are. I'm gonna take the lid off for a second. I just want to make sure everything's covered. Oh yeah, it's covered. Just cover it back up. All right, we got 10 minutes on there. We're gonna go ahead and move this over to the back. Right here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let's get a waffle done. Now, I want to know, is everybody ready? Is everybody caught up? Everybody with me? Anybody need another minute or so? Talk to me. All right. So I got my waffle line right here. All right. I'm gonna turn it a little bit to the side for you guys. It's just a little tiny simple waffle iron, nothing special. All right, it's got the deep grooves, as you can see inside. Those are pretty deep grooves, and those are that's that Belgium deep waffle. All right. Now you could pour your batter into a pitcher or anything like that, or use a ladle to scoop it out, or I'm just gonna scoop right from the bowl, and I'll show you what we're gonna do in 2 minutes or so. So let's see, we got yeah, we'll go ahead and put one down now. We have everything ready for everything, right? We have our glazes ready. We have our strawberry butter ready. We have our batters ready. We have what else do we have? Only thing we don't have our mimosas ready today. That's okay. Okay, so my waffle line is hot. Tells me it's hot. I don't want it too hot, but I want it hot. Okay, there we go. Want it to burn. Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna spray my waffle line just a little bit, and it's just a non-stick canola oil. I like canola than using vegetable oil, because with vegetable oil, I don't know what vegetables they're using. Not all vegetables have the same, what they call smoking point. Some are a little bit higher than others, but canola has a good high smoking point. In other words, it takes a minute for it to burn. So now, one thing when you put your waffle in, it's gonna swell up. So this is gonna run over a little bit. It's gonna be nice and hot. So I'm gonna close it up, and I'm gonna spin it. And we're gonna let it go. All right, waffles going. So with that being said, we're gonna go over here, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of strawberries. Strawberry feels forever. Let me take you down, and I'm going to strawberry fields. All right. Nothing is real. All right, guys. We're rocking and rolling. All right. Let's go make a little, we can do something real simple with the strawberries. Nothing too crazy.
Chef, we don't have any questions, so everyone must be doing their thing.
Everything's cooking. I'm gonna want to see some stuff now. Can we see some stuff? Show me what you got. Show me what you got. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that waffle smells delicious.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was just thinking myself. Wow. Smells good. All right, guys. 4 minutes on the chicken. We're gonna look at it again. Oh yeah, it's floating. 4 minutes on chicken. Probably another. Let's see, that waffle looks like it's about ready. Let's take a look at it. Flip it back over. Let's just see. Ooh. There we go. Y'all see that?
Beautiful.
How's that look, guys? That's what I'm talking about. You see the height on it? See the size, the height?
Beautiful.
All right. Nice deep. All right. We're gonna cut it. Actually, we can put this whole one on the plate. It looks so good. Take it over to our display plate. While it's nice and hot, we're gonna add some strawberry butter. Right on top. Watch that butter melt. Mm-hmm.
Question, Chef.
Yes.
How do we know when our chicken is done?
So the way you know your chicken is done, there's two ways. First of all, if you have a timer, if you timed it about 12 minutes or so, 12, 15 minutes, should be done. If not, you can take a thermometer, a meat thermometer, and you put your meat thermometer into the chicken to the thick part, not all the way through, and it should register at minimally 165 degrees. Chicken is done at when an internal temperature is 165 degrees. All right? All right, this chicken is just about there. It says 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. How we guys doing? Chicken's going. Waffles going.
Fantastic, Chef.
Now here's the part that's gonna just take it right over the top. All right? Here's the part. We're gonna wait for this thing to beep one time. And as soon as it does, we're gonna pull that chicken up. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna drop it onto this platter here, just for a second to get the extra oil off. Then we're gonna drop it into our glaze here, turn it over. We're gonna put it right on the plate with this sweet potato waffle. Do y'all see the butter melting on that waffle? Can y'all see that?
Yes.
How's it smelling? How's it looking? All right, here we go. Yep, here we go. Come on. Yeah. Can y'all see that chicken? Spotlight that chicken, guys.
Golden brown and delicious.
Open it up. There you go. We're gonna pull it up there. You can see the crispiness of it. You can hear it. Oh my goodness.
Now, is the crispiness caused by the double dip, by the cornstarch, or both?
Both. The double dip and the cornstarch causes the crispiness. All right, here we go. We're gonna go right into our glaze. We're gonna move it around. We're gonna get that chicken fully coated with the glaze. All right. Now we'll slice this chicken, but I'm just gonna put this whole breast on his plate. Make sure we get all the glaze on it. All right. All right, guys. What do we think? What are we thinking? What are we thinking? How's that look? That look like something you want to eat? Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yes, chef.
I get a lot of over there. All right, we got any questions out there? My monitor is not really seeing for some reason. I got something up in front of it. Oh, or something in front of it. I don't know what it is. All right. You got it right. Okay. Oh,
On.
Good afternoon, Chef. This is Erica Cook. How are you?
Hey, Cuz, how you feeling, babe? Thank you for coming.
I'm just joining in, and I was just looking at that glaze. What's in the ingredients in that glaze? I just joined in.
Okay, so that glaze is, if you, I don't know if you got the email, but you'll have a recipe in there. But that
Okay,
glaze,
I'll check that.
that's okay, but I'll tell you real quick. That is our
Okay.
mild groove glaze, and we have our sneak up sauce, which is the sauce that I make.
Okay.
And we have a sneak up sauce. So we have garlic in there, paprika, black pepper, and a little bit of brown sugar.
Oh, yum. Okay, I'm gonna check that out too. Thank
All
you.
right. You're so welcome.
Miss y'all.
Welcome. Thank you from DC.
Yes.
DMV in the house.
Yes.
We got Charleston, South Carolina in the house. Let me know where you're from. We got Atlanta in the house. We got Queens, New York in the house. All right, all right. Anybody got any questions about anything? Everybody, is everybody's done? Monique, how you doing out there? How's it going in Atlanta?
It's going well in the ATL. I'll be
All right. All right.
Memento.
Okay. Memento. I'm waiting to see some plates, guys. While we waiting, I'm going to go ahead and make, because I got some hungry folks here. So I'm going to go ahead and make a couple more waffles while we're waiting. I hear furniture moving over there, table, chairs moving. That means they're getting hungry. So I'm going to show you again. We're going to drop another one. Yeah, there we go. All right, all right, all right. How we doing over there in South Carolina? Can you hear me out there? All right, guys, we're about to wrap this up in a minute or so, but I just want you to make sure that you can join us for our next culinary adventure with Cooking with Carrington, where we aim to elevate and educate. But you can also check out some of our blogs that are online. It just helps you, give you a little bit of information about food, and from everything from how to shop in a supermarket to how to pick out products, everything, how different things are grown and where they're grown at. Just check out our blogs. They're very informative. Of course, they educate and elevate also. Again, I don't have my label on this bottle, but we do have if you go back to the introduction, you will see the label for our Big Daddy Sneak Up sauce. It's a sauce that I make, we ship it. If you need to know anything more about it, you can just go ahead to our Cooking with Carrington website, and we can answer any question that you have. I'm so glad that everybody came aboard and got with us. We wanted to do this class again because this was the initial class that we did to get us jump started. And we couldn't, for some reason, we could not upload it to our website for legal reasons, actually. But now that we've got it straightened out, we have uploaded it. It will be uploaded to our website. and it has all the ingredients and everything else. And as always, thank you for cooking with Carrington. We look to see you in the future. Whereas